Hi everyone, I'm Al. This is TYC and we're back on Fridays with this week's topic, trans POCs. Trans POCs is just another way of saying transgender people of color, which is obviously people that are not white. I am not a person of color, as you can see, but I think this week is a very important topic to talk about because it's something that not a lot of people, I think, get around to. Just a disclaimer, I am obviously not a person of color, so things I might say might be incredibly wrong, and I just don't know the difference because I have been very, very white privileged. And I think that's a reason we need to talk about this because people of color have it a lot harder than I think a lot of white people think. I know people of color who do not think that they have been disprivileged by being colored, but I definitely know people who have. I mean, obviously there are white trans people who get killed or discriminated against, but it's on a much lower scale than trans people of color. You hear stories all the time about like white teenage boys going out on a drunken rampage and accidentally running over 6 people, and then they're out of jail the next day. But you look at a police officer the wrong way if you're a person of color, and you're pretty much insured to be in jail. And I think throwing transgenderism in there just makes it even more of a liability. White trans people are discriminated against for being trans, not for being white. Trans POCs are discriminated against for being trans and being not white. So having that double-edged blade coming at you, or potentially coming at you, is a lot more dangerous than having just the one argument against you. This is racism, it's discrimination. But of course that's something that we haven't entirely gotten away from yet, and it's really regretful. I mean, there have been tons and tons of trans people of color that have helped us along the way. And I mean, we have people like Sylvia Rivera who helped start the trans riots of Stonewall, and she was a bisexual Puerto Rican, I think, woman, and she and Marsha P. Johnson started STAR, which provided homes and shelters for trans women, and these people have just been graciously overlooked because of their skin color or because they were trans. And being white really does help you, I think, get along, because just the simple fact that you're white gives you so much more. The majority of people aren't killed on the street for being trans POCs, but it's definitely an unacceptably greater amount. And I think this is something that cannot be overlooked no matter what. And I don't think there's really any way to fix this. I think that the only thing you can really do is activism and calling attention to this. And luckily, or not really luckily, I guess, with the Ferguson stuff that's been going on lately, it's been called to a greater attention, and more people are kind of thinking, this is wrong, this is racism. But I don't think that's going to be enough. I don't think this is something that's going to be overcome easily. And so that, I say to you, is be an activist for these people. If you are a trans person of color, keep doing what you're doing. If you're not, step up and don't let this be something that is so harmful. There are organizations like GLAAD which have taken that step up forward and have specifically claimed rights for trans people of color. But there are also tons and tons of organizations that could do that and just haven't. And I think that's a really big problem that should be fixed. Alright, that's it for me this week. Thank you for listening. Be sure to check out everybody else's videos and check out all the links we have down here. See you guys again next week. Counseling and therapy in the trans community is fairly difficult to find and to get, purely because being transgender is a lot further down on the list of things people know about.